All right, hey everybody, we're back. Today we're going to be looking at Chapter 6, Lesson 2. And we're working with something called reflections. It's another transformation. I don't think this one will take as long as the last one. It's a little bit more of just like a one-step thing. So we're going to start with a reflection, just with a definition for that. So if you go in your book, we're at page 462. A reflection is just a mirror image of the original figure, and it is the result of a transformation. So it's just a transformation of a figure over a line called a line of reflection. So that's our next vocab word. A line of reflection is just the line that you're reflecting over. So if we go up to our examples up here, our line of reflection for this one, where this one flipped over, is our x-axis. That is our line of reflection. And that's what it's saying. We're reflecting a figure over the x-axis. So the x-axis would be our line of reflection. Our reflection, depending on which one we started with, if this is our original image, this green one, our reflection would be the blue one up here. So you literally, for these ones, each point of the pre-image and its image are the same distance from the line of reflection. So we said that our line of reflection was the x-axis. Well, this point right here is just one away from that line of reflection. So its reflection is one away on the opposite side. So this one was 1, 2, 3, 4 away. The other, its reflection will be 1, 2, 3, 4 away. 1 away, 1 away. It's literally just moving it over that line of reflection the same distance. Same for this one. For this one, our line of reflection is the y-axis. That's what we're reflecting over. This one's 1, 2 away, so this will be 1, 2 away. And same for the other two. So 1, 2, 3, 4 away. Its reflection is 1, 2, 3, 4. So these points reflections are the same distance from this line of reflection. And usually it will tell you. If you're drawing the points, it'll tell you what your line of reflection is, which I believe is just going to be x-axis and y-axis in this lesson. So that's what we're working with. If you need to go over that again, just rewind the video, start over and go back through it. If I went a little too fast, you can pause the video, think it over a little bit, kind of like what we've been doing. You can pause it at any point, go back and rewatch something if it's confusing to you, or you can email me or Mrs. Stofflet to ask questions and we will answer them for you to the best of our ability. So the image also for our reflection, the image is congruent to the pre-image. So it's exactly the same, except it's been moved in some way. All the angles are the same, and so are all the lengths for each side. It is a congruent image. Everything's the same except for its positioning. And that's kind of what we're going to be dealing with for transformations a little bit. One of them will be different, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So we're going to go through an example now. Example 1. Triangle ABC has vertices A, 5, 2, B, 1, 3, and C, -1, 1. We need to graph the figure and its reflected image over the x-axis. So we're reflecting this over the x-axis. So right here, let's point, if we're plotting 5, 2, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 2. There's point A. They plotted that there. For B, plotting 1, 3, we go 1, 1, 2, 3, up 3, right there. C, -1, 1, -1, 1. They have all those points where they need them. So that's what you start with. You draw that first. You make your triangle first. Now we have to find its reflection. So all we're doing, we're on the x-axis. This is our line of reflection. It already told us that we're doing this over the x-axis. That's telling what your line of reflection is. So our x-axis is the line of reflection. Now we have to find our distance from the line of reflection and go that distance on the other side of it. So 1, 2. Our distance to A is 2 from our line of reflection, so we move it 2 on the other side. 1, 2. That is where A prime will be, our new A. B was 1, 2, 3 lines from the line of reflection, so we got to go 3 lines down from the line of reflection. 1, 2, 3. C is 1 unit away from our line of reflection, so we go 1 unit down to do our C prime, our new C. And that is our reflected points. And then they just fill in our triangle, connect the dots. So the coordinates are 5, negative 2, and this is what they're just looking at their points now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 2, 5, negative 2. 1, let's find B now. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, negative 3, and C is negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1. So they just looked at their points and then they marked down the coordinates for them. And that's all we're doing with these. So, going off of that, we have another example before we have a got it. So I'm going to go through another example for you before we go to a got it for these. So, now we're looking at a quadrilateral. Quadrilateral KLMN has vertices K, which is 2, 3, L, which is 5, 1, and M, which is 4, negative 2, and N, which is negative 1, negative 1. Graph the image and its reflection over the y-axis. Then find the coordinates of the vertices over the reflected image. So we're graphing these and we're reflecting it over, just like we did in the last one. Except this time it's over the y-axis, not the x. It tells us the y-axis, so we're going over this y-axis. It's important to remember which axis is which. So x, y. All right, so let's mark down our points. They did that. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's our 2, 3 for K. Our L is 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 1. So these are the exact points that each of these letters represents. Those are those points. These are the ordered pairs for those points right here. L is 5, 1. That's where that point's going to be. M is going to be where 4, negative 2 is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2, negative 2. That's where M is. Right there. N is 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1, and there's N. Now, we're reflecting this over the y-axis. So again, we're looking at the distance from the line of reflection, which is our y-axis, because it told us we're reflecting over the y-axis. Whenever it tells you over, I'm going to highlight this if I can get my highlighter right, over the y-axis or over the x-axis, that means this is your line of reflection. That's what that's telling you. Whenever it does that, it's your line of reflection. And that's what you're going to use to reflect your points. So, y-axis, we're using that to reflect our points. 1, 2 away, so I have to go 2 away on the other side. 1, 2. There's our new K. And then 1 away for N, so we go 1 away on the other side. So our new N. And it's important never to move these points in 2 directions. It should only be going, so if this is 2 right, we can only go 2 left. We're not going up or down for these. It has to be on the same level. So for N, 1 away, 1 away. M was 1, 2, 3, 4, so it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. L, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We literally just moved our point the same distance on the other side of this y-axis. And then they're going to mark down their coordinates because they're looking at these points now to find their coordinates. So negative 2, 3. That's our new K. K prime. L prime, negative 5, 1. They looked at this point and they went, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, so it's a negative 5, up 1, so it's a positive 1. Same thing with M prime. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 left, so that's a negative 4, and it's down 2, so it's a negative 2. Negative 4, negative 2. N prime over 1 to the left 1, so it's negative 1. It's down 1, so it's a negative 1, so it's negative 1, negative 1. All right, now we're going to try got it. So you're going to do this got it next. We're working with triangle PQR. And I just realized on the last lesson there was a graph over here and I did not see it. I don't know how I didn't see it, but now I have a graph. I'm going to use that graph. It'll help me a lot. So, triangle PQR has vertices 1, 5, 3, 7, and 4, negative 1. Graph the figure and its reflection over the y-axis. Then find the coordinates of the reflected image. I'm going to have you try this. Pause the video here, try this problem, and then resume it once you're done, and that'll show me going through it. So pause it right here. All right, I hope you paused it and did the problem, because we're going to go through it now. So I'm going to mark down these coordinates first. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So P is 1, and we're going up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 5. That is P. Our Q is 3, 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a ways up there. That is Q. And our N, or our R, PQR, our R is 4, negative 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. And that is R. And it's right now, I kind of wish I had a ruler. But if you have a ruler, I would use that. If you don't, you can freehand it like me. I'd rather have you use a ruler, though. It makes it more precise. That actually wasn't too bad. I'm pretty proud of myself with that one. Alright, so we're making a triangle. Wow, that was pretty good. Anyway, we're reflecting this over the y-axis. So, over the y-axis. That is our line of reflection. The y-axis is our line of reflection. This axis right here, that's our y-axis. Line of reflection, we're 1, 2, 3 away. So we have to go 3 way the other way. 1, 2, 3. There's our new Q. P is 1 way, so we just go in 1 way on the other side. There's our new P. R is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. We're going to go 4 away on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all you have to do. And then just connect your lines. And then, I believe, we have to find the coordinates. Yeah. So we have to find the coordinates now of these new points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up 6, left 1. So our P prime is negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1, 5. Our Q prime is, we're up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And how far over are we? 1, 2, 3. So negative 3, our x distance is negative 3. We moved to the left 3, and we went up 7, so it's a positive 7. I'm going to put my other one down here. And my R prime is down 1, and then we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. X is left and right, so 1, 2, 3, 4 over. Negative 4, because it's left, down 1, so we're going to have a negative 1. And that is our answer for this. These are the coordinates, which is all it really wanted. So find the coordinates. So graph it, find the coordinates. We graphed it, we found the coordinates. That's what we're going to be doing in these lessons. So hopefully that's not too bad. So here's our new example. The figure below is reflected over the y-axis. Find the coordinates of point A prime and point B prime. Then sketch the figure and its image on the coordinate plane. So, point A is located at 1, 4. Point B is located at 2, 1. Since the figure is being reflected over the y-axis, multiply the coordinates by negative 1. So, if we go back to these, I want you to notice something. We're reflecting over the y-axis. Our reflections are all at the same height. All of these are at the same height. So the y is going to be the same for all of these. If we look at P, P's y value is 5, P prime's y value is 5. Q's y value is 7, Q prime's y value is 7. All of these y values are going to match up. Looking at this graph, they're all the same height. The only thing that changes is this is a positive one, because it's 1 away from this. This is a negative 1. The only thing that changes in these whole coordinates is this goes from positive to negative. The x values go from positive to negative, because we're just flipping it to the other side of this y-axis. They're the same distance away, so it's going to have the same numeral, it's just going to be a different value. Negative value on this side, positive value on this side. So the only thing that changes are these x values are going to be negative if it's going over the y-axis. If we go back to the other example, over the y-axis, we look at our values they got. They have a 5. Well, our x values are the same because we're going over the x-axis. So 5 is the same here. It's 5, 5, 2 to negative 2. Where is that one? This one. So it went from positive 2 here to a negative 2 here. Went from positive 3 to a negative 3. Positive 1 to a negative 1. So whatever value is changing, if it's going over the x-axis, it's changing vertically. So your y value is going to go in a negative or a positive. It's going to be the opposite value. For these values, if it's going over the y-axis, your x values are going to go opposite. If you're having a trouble like remembering that fact, think about it visually. If I'm going over the y-axis, I'm moving my x values. That's what's changing. I'm going over the x-axis, I'm going over vertically. That's what's changing. So my y values will change. Just opposite values. And that's what we're going to be talking about with example 3. The figure below is reflected over the y-axis. So they're thinking, okay, instead of just counting this time, let's just flip our point. Flip our x-axis, our x point, to a negative. Change it to an opposite value. Y stays the same because it's going over the y-axis, but my x value is going to be opposite of it. So 1 goes to negative 1. My b value is going to be opposite. 2 goes to negative 2. So they're graphing the same thing. They just move these points to the other side. You could also think about it the distance way, but they're just saying you can literally do the opposite value of the x value if it's over the y-axis. Depending on the axis, the different x or y value will be opposite. But only one of them changes, not both of them. Only one. For x-axis and y-axis. Alright, so we have one more got it. And that's it for this lesson. I hope it wasn't too bad. The figure at the right is reflected over the x-axis. Find the coordinates of point A' and point B', then sketch the image on the coordinate plane. So this is different from what we did before. We're not reflecting it first on our graph. We're finding our points first, then sketching the graph. So we have to do the points first this time. So first, let's figure out what our points are. So also, if you haven't paused it by now, you should pause it and try this problem first before you watch me do it. So pause it if you haven't done it yet. I should have told you that earlier, but pause it now, and then we'll go over it. All right. So A is at 1, 2, so negative 2, positive 2. B is at 1, 2, positive 2, 2, 2. And we're looking for what value our A prime is going to be and our B prime is going to be without graphing. So looking at our graph, it goes over the x-axis. It goes over the x-axis like this. Our y values are changing, not our x values. We're moving up and down, up and down. So our y values are going to be opposite, leaving our x values the same. Negative 2 is the same, but our y value is going to change to negative 2 because it's opposite. Our x value is the same for b prime, but our y value is going to change and it's going to be opposite. So we're going to have negative 2 to negative 2 and 2 negative 2. So a prime, negative 2, b prime, 2, negative 2. We just flipped. We're not flipped. We took the opposite of what our y value is because we're going over the y. Or over the x-axis, I'm sorry. Over the x-axis, we're moving up and down. So, looking at this, 2, 1, 2, negative 2. That's our b prime. Our a prime is at negative 2, negative 2. That's our a prime. And if you wanted to, I would say that's good enough. You don't have to try and sketch this image. You can though. I'm going to try and do it. At this point, if you feel like you got it, the video's kind of done, the lesson's done. I'm just going to draw this image out so you can kind of see what would happen to the best of my ability because I'm not an artist. Bear with me. All right. And then it's going to go. Not terrible. But that's kind of what the image will look like. It's just reflected over the same side. It's congruent. All the lengths should be the same. All the angles should be the same. So that's what we have for this lesson. And now you're going to be doing, for your homework for this one, I want you to do problems 1 through 4 and 6 through 8 on pages 465. So starting at 465, you're going to be doing problems 1 through 4, 6 through 8, and then 20 and 21. So all the way from page 465 to 468, problems 1 through 4, 6 through 8, 20, and 21. That's what I'm going to have you do. When you finish that up, I'll have an answer key out on Thursday, and then you will be able to go through and grade it, and then send those to me or Mrs. Stofflet, and we will look at those and give you feedback if you want feedback. So any questions you have, feel free to email those out. Let us know. We'll try to respond to you in a decent amount of time, and just keep in contact with us. We like to hear from you, even if it's not about math. Always try to keep in contact with us so we know what's going on, how you're doing with things. If it's too much for you, let us know if this schoolwork is too much for you. We'll try to work with you through anything you have. So I hope everything's going good. I hope you're getting the math. If you're not, feel free to ask questions. We'll work through it with you and help you get there. That's all I got for you, and I will see you probably not again this week. I probably won't have another video out this week, but I will go through another thing eventually. I'll keep in contact with you and let you know. All right. I hope you have a good rest of the day.